How are you? Thanks for stopping by. You know, the story I'm going to tell you happened to me probably about 5 or 6 years ago. It's been that long. And I've carried it in my head for a long time. And usually at night, I'll have a dream that I preach this. And I've had it over and over and over. Well, it's not that easy to preach if you're not an ordained minister, not in the sense of getting up in church and preaching it. So what I decided to do was just put it on YouTube. Now, I don't know why it took me that long to think of that, but here we are. So this is the story exactly as it happened to me. So a little bit of context. I own a landscape or mowing business, and I had a customer, and she was an elderly lady. She was a hoarder. I'm a big time hoarder, just like you would see the show on TV, like You Can't Walk Through the House Hoarder. That was her. But the outside of the house was immaculate. She kept everything outside of the house perfect. Well, anyway, she had to go into the hospital, and she was going to be in it for an extended period of time. And the church that she went to, there were, I think, two or three ladies from the church. They were pastors' wives. They were going to come start cleaning this house out. So I showed up to mow one day, and when I got there, there's one lady comes out and she says, "Hey, we've got a check for you when you get done. Just come in and see us." And I said, "Oh, hey, that's good. When I'm done, I'll pop in." So I get the yard mowed, and I came in, and there's two ladies, and they've got their masks on, and they're doing their best to start going through this trash. And we had a little bit of small talk. It turns out that the lady's house that they're cleaning, her estranged daughter was a preacher. Now, that's another story why they hadn't spoken in 40 years. But anyway, so I got my check and I left. As I'm going out the front door, I opened the storm door and I stepped through the door, and in my head I hear, "Go back and pray with those ladies for the lady," we'll call her Mrs. M, the lady that owned the house. And immediately I thought, I don't want to go back in that house and pray with those. I don't know those ladies. They're preachers' wives. They don't need me to help them pray for anything. I said, nope. And I kept on walking out the door. So I got in my truck, and I'm going down the street to the next yard that needs to be mowed. And I get the whole way down. I'm struggling with this. And in my mind, back and forth, the Holy Spirit is telling me, go back and pray with those ladies. And I'm going, no, I don't want to go back and pray with those ladies. They don't need me. I'm not going to go do it. So next yard, I'm mowing. I'm still thinking about it. I'm trying to think about anything else but that. And I still hear it. Go pray with those ladies. I said, nah, I don't want to go pray with those ladies. And I knew better. I should have gone, right? But I didn't. So I finished that yard. I go to the next yard. I've almost gotten the thought to go away, but it's still in the back of my head, and it comes up from time to time. And I'm still going, nope, I'm not going. Finally, in this last yard I'm mowing, and then I'm going to have to go back past this lady's house to get out of the neighborhood. I say, well, okay, when I go back by, I'll stop and I'll go in and pray with these ladies. So I finished that yard. I'm going up the street. I turn the corner. I see this house where these ladies are cleaning up the inside of the house. And I look, and there's another car. So now there's more ladies in there cleaning up. And I thought, nope, not going now. Not going to happen. So I pass it. So then I have to head out of town, maybe 10-minute ride away from this location. And of course, I'm still thinking about it. So I get to the next yard. I get out, I start mowing, everything's fine. I've kind of put this in the back of my mind. I'm not thinking about it. Well, if you see the big swing sets in people's yards and they have like the fort built on the side of it and it's a big A-frame, big wooden structure. Well, I had mowed the yard until I got over to this point, and I'm starting to go around this thing. And you have to be careful when you're on a big commercial mower, when you go under, around swing sets, because you'll get hung up on stuff and you'll break swings, the chains and the seat part, the actual swing. So I'm coming up to the swing set, and I'm gonna go drive right between the two swings, and I'll separate them and I'll go between it. Well, that's what I did. Now, sometimes if you go between and you kind of throw the swings away from you and you pass through, you won't catch anything. You'll be fine. Sometimes you do, and you'll know it. You'll either hear it, you'll snap a swing and you'll know, or it'll jerk the mower back and you know you're hung up on something. Well, I came through clean as a whistle. Nothing happened. And I'm away from the swing set a decent bit, and I hear, pow! I'd look back and I thought, I've torn up the swing set. I know it. I've ripped the swing off, and I look back. The swings are completely still. They're not moving. So I thought, well, there was some construction in the neighborhood. I thought, well, maybe there was something over there. They dropped a pallet or something, made a loud noise. But I keep mowing. Well, I'm driving along, and I had to raise the mower deck up. So there's a foot pedal that does that. Well, I just instinctively move my foot to pick the deck up, and nothing happens. I keep stomping my foot around. I'm like, wait, there's nothing down there. So I look down, and on a John Deere zero-turn commercial mower, there's a large like foot pedal that raises the deck up and down, and it's about as big around as your wrist and your fist. That's how big it is. It was completely broken in half, just clean as a whistle, broke it in half. And right then I knew. I said, yes, God, I'm going back to the house. Please do not tear up anything else on the mower. I've got 1 yard here to finish, and I'm going back that way. I'm going to the house. No problem. Just please don't break anything else. I got it. I understand. I got the message that you're not messing around, and I will obey. So I finish up. I managed to be able to mow without being able to move the mower deck. That was fine. So I go back and I pull up, and there's like 2 cars at this house now. So I know there's more people that were in there than the original 2 when I was first in the house. And I go in, and on my way, I'm thinking, how do you tell somebody, hey, guess what? I'm supposed to pray with you. Well, I didn't know what else to do, so I went in. I get out of the truck, I go up to the door, I walk in. The ladies all have their masks on. They're cleaning. I find them. They're cleaning the bedroom out. And I said, this is all I said. I walked in. I said, ladies, we've got to pray. And they knew who I was talking about. I was talking about for the lady who owned the house, for her and the situation for her and her daughter. I said, we got to pray. We'll call her Mrs. M. We've got to pray for Mrs. M. And they didn't bat an eye. They said, well, let's do it. Come on. They started chucking their masks off, and they said, come on, let's make a circle and hold hands, and we'll start praying. And we started praying. And of course, I thought I had to go first because this was my idea, right? So, so I started. I had pretty good prayer, I thought. Just, tried to cover everything I could. So the 3 other ladies that are there, and they're in a circle with me, they are all pastors' wives. And they are African-American ladies, super sweet. But my goodness, when they turned loose, I thought fire was going to come down in the room. I mean, these ladies could pray. And it was, at one point they got so demanding in what they needed God to do. I almost thought, I don't know if I can talk to God like that. And I actually, in my head, I'm kind of going, Lord, if they're not supposed to talk to you like this, like if you have to strike them down, I don't want to be collateral damage. I just, spare me if it comes down in the room. But no, they were fabulous ladies and fabulous prayers. And the interesting thing is, what we prayed for, nothing happened with that for like 4 or 5 years after the time we prayed for the situation, for the healing of that relationship between Mrs. M and her daughter, who was an ordained minister. But in the end, they reconciled. Before Mrs. M passed away, they reconciled. So me going back in the house there was nothing about this situation of me going to the house and praying with those ladies that had any kind of immediate impact. That was strictly about me being obedient and going back and doing what I was supposed to do because I was instructed by the Lord to do something. Had nothing to do with the situation, whether we got it, made it in kind of a immediate impact, like I had to do something right then. It was strictly, would I follow what the Lord said to do? And I did. I could have avoided the broken mower piece if I had just done it the first time, but I did it. So, hope this helps somebody. God bless.